Good morning to one and all. Hello, hope all are fine. Last live class we discussed about the lesson 7, the uprising of 1857, or it is also known as the Revolt of 1857, also one more name, the first war of Indian independence. Also, introduction we discussed about the who became the political masters of India by the middle of the 19th century. English became the political masters of India by the middle of the 19th century. Also, we discussed about the two causes. Which are the two causes we discussed? Political causes and socio-religious causes. Today's topic is about economic causes and military causes. What are the first one is the third point is about the economic causes. Exploitation of economic resources. Who exploited our resources? The British exploited our economic resources. So see, exploitation of economic resources. Indians were forced to export raw materials. Which are the raw materials they were forced to export? Like cotton, silk, food grains, etc. at a cheaper rate. And we have to buy ready-made British goods imported in India, either duty-free or nominal tax. They did not want to pay the tax, but Indians were forced to pay high taxes. That is also one discrimination from the side of the British. So here the Indian goods, again one more point, it is the Indian handmade goods could not compete with the cheaper machine made goods of British. Once again read the topic. Thus Indian handmade goods could not compete with the cheaper machine made goods of Britain. So people started buying these goods as they were much cheaper. This deprived, so what is the result? Deprived the income and labor of the craftsmen and the ruin of the Indian handicraft industry. Once again, go to the point. First point, exploitation of economic resources. The Britishers enriched themselves at the cost of Indians. What the British do? They exploit the economic resources. And Indians were forced to export. We were compelled, forced to exploit our raw materials, cotton, silk, food grains, etc. at a cheaper rate. And we are buying ready-made British goods imported in India, either duty-free or at nominal means normal tax. And also Indian handmade goods could not compete with the cheaper machine-made goods of Britain. And people started buying goods as it was cheaper. So what is the result? This deprived the income. Who is not getting the income? The handicraft industry. They are not getting any income and labor. So this deprived the income and labor of the craftsmen and brought ruin, destructions to the Indian handicraft industry. So that is the first point, exploitation of economic resources. So here we can see what? The misery or the poor conditions of the artisans, the poor conditions of the craftsmen, and also ruin to the Indian handicraft industry. So that is what the misery of the artisans can be seen in the second paragraph. One point they return. Disappearance of their traditional pattern, their traditional supporters and buyers, the princes, chieftains and zemindars too. So the second paragraph is about the misery of the artisans. Second paragraph is about the misery, the poor conditions of the artisans. One more point is the economic causes, that is about the poverty and famine. Poverty and famine. The new land revenue policies introduced by the British had an adverse impact on the peasantry group, peasants. And they have, why? Because there is the income or revenue is fixed and it is a very high revenue. And also the policy of revenue collection got very stricter. Even during the time of crop failure, it affected the poor class or the peasant group because they were forced to pay revenue during the crop failure too. If they are these peasants, if they are not able to pay the revenue, they were forced to pay revenue. If they are not ready to pay the revenue, the land was seized, captured by whom? By the money lenders. And what was the condition of the peasant class? Their land was seized by whom? By the money lenders. So their condition means what? They will not have any land. Their condition is very poor. So that is the second point. Poverty and famine. Poverty and famine. The new land revenue policies introduced by the British had an adverse impact on the peasantry as they were now required to pay fixed and higher revenue. And the policy of revenue collection got very strict. Even during the time of crop failure, they were compelled to pay, forced to pay the revenue even during the time of crop failure. If they are not ready to pay the tax, the land was seized by the money lenders. So what was the condition of the peasantry group? They will not have any land, landless, and they again turn into poor condition. The fourth cause is about the four causes are the first one, live class we discussed political causes, the second one religious causes, third one economic causes, in that exploitation of economic resources and poverty and famine. Poverty and famine. Now the last cause is about the military causes. Military causes, 2 points are the ill treatment of Sipais. Ill treatment of which Sipais? Indian Sipais. Sipai means soldiers. So what was the condition? The British, they themselves think they were the superior class, and the Indian Sipais were considered as the inferior class. British superiors and the Indian Sipais were considered as inferior class. And mainly the Indian Sipais are from which region? Awadh. I already discussed last live class. Awadh region means from Uttar Pradesh, or Awadh we used to say. Annexation of Awadh. In that, what the British, what was the reason they were telling? The Awadh was not governed properly. Such a way the region has been annexed by the British. So it mainly affected whom? It hurt the feelings of the Indian Sipais. Already we discussed in the political causes, policy of annexation. So here also we can see what the British were considered as the superior class, and the Indian Sipais were considered as what? The inferior class. And mainly these Indian Sipais from the Awadh region. And they are not paid at par, at equal with the British soldiers. Both the Britishers and the Indian Sipais, they were doing the same work, but they were not paid at par, at equal with the British counterparts. And moreover, they were ill-treated and were forced to live under poor condition. All the high post, high promotion, already we discussed in the religious causes, policy of discrimination. All the high post, the promotion, that are reserved for whom only? For the British. So there is no promotion, no high post for whom? For the Indians. And Indians were not allowed to wear caste and religious mark like turban or bird. That means our own religious symbols, dresses or turbans, we are not allowed to wear. So that is what the first point, ill treatment of Sipais, mainly the Indian Sipais, they were not treated properly. And also they were not paid at par, at equal. Both are doing the same work, but the Indian Sipais, they were not get equal payment at par with the Britishers. And also they were they were compelled to live under poor conditions doing all these services. And all the high post and promotion was reserved only for the Britishers. Even the educated Indians were even denied the appointments of high post and promotion. This turned them against the British. And they were not wear caste and religions marked like turban or bird. That is what the first point, ill treatment of Sipais. Already we discussed in the political causes and social causes. Same point here also repeating. Now one more point is the general. So this military causes related to the military, about in the condition of the Indian soldiers. The first one is about Indian Sipais, their poor condition, and they are not getting any wage or salary. They are not getting any salaries. The second one is about an act has been introduced by the British, Lord Canning. The act is known as what? General Service Enlistment Act, and the act was introduced by Lord Canning in the year 1856. What that act they are saying? According to that act, the new recruit in the army, those who are recruited in the army, they were required to travel overseas. They want to cross the seas if needed. But the Hindu soldiers resented. They were against it, or they were happy with the new law. What was the General Service Enlistment Act? According to that act, they have to travel, or they have to cross the seas to do the service. So the Hindu soldiers were not happy. They resented, or they were dissatisfied. Why? According to their traditional belief of the Hindus, the people travel across the land led to, if they are travel overseas, or if they are traveling across the land, means what? According to their caste, it is a sin. So they were fear that what their religion or their caste has been lost for them. So the Indian soldiers were compelled to travel across the land. That means it a loss of caste and religions for them. And also one more system was even the foreign service allowances. Foreign service allowances is known as what? Betta. Betta means paid when the sepoys, if the sepoys, Indian soldiers, they are doing the service in the foreign, they will be getting extra payment. That is, extra payment is known as what? Betta. Paid when the sepoys were sent to fight outside the country. But that betta, even the Indians were not happy to do the foreign service. But they were compelled to do the foreign service, and if they are doing the foreign service, they are getting extra payment betta. But that was also discontinued. So these are all the causes for what? For the revolt of 1857. Once again, let's recap today's topic. The first one is about the economic causes. What? Exploitation of economic resources. Indians were forced to export raw materials at a cheaper rate, and they were buy ready-made British goods imported in India, either duty-free or at nominal tax. So the Indian handmade goods could not compete with the cheaper machine goods of Britain. So people started buying goods as cheaper. So this deprived the income and labor of the craftsmen and also the Indian handicraft industry. So the second paragraph that explains what? The misery of the artisans. The second point is about the poverty and famine, that mainly the impact can be seen in the peasantry class, because they were the peasantry group, they have to pay fixed and higher revenue. So the policy of collection got very strict, and even during the time of crop failure also they are collecting high revenue. So they were forced to pay revenue. If they are not able to pay the revenue, the land was seized by the money lenders, and the condition of the peasants means what? They will become landless laborers, or land without land, and the condition, poor condition. Military causes, ill treatment of sepoys mainly from the Awadh region. They were doing the British and the Indian sepoy soldiers, they were doing same work, but they are not getting their salaries are very less, Indian sepoys, and also they were forced to live under poor conditions, and the high post, everything reserved for British. Indian sepoys were considered as inferior class, and the British considered themselves as superior class, and also they were not wear caste and religious mark like turban. And the next one is about General Service Enlistment Act. The act was introduced by Lord Canning in 1856. According to that, the Indian sepoys, they want to do the service, where they have to do the service? Overseas. But according to the traditional belief of the Hindus, to travel across the land means what? Loss of caste. So the Hindu soldiers were not happy with the new act. Which act? General Service Enlistment Act. And also, if these Indian sepoys, if they are doing the foreign service, they used to get the extra payment or betta, but that was also discontinued. So these are the causes for the revolt of 1857. One more topic is the immediate cause. What was the immediate cause of the revolt of 1857? The immediate four main causes are there. What are the four causes? The first cause is about the political causes or religious causes. Then the third one, today's topic, economic causes. The fourth one is about the military causes, about the condition of the soldiers. The last one is about the immediate cause. Immediate cause, in that they were discussing about the greased cartridges. What is this greased? Greased cartridges. It is greased with the fat of cow and pig, and the Indian soldiers want to bite it. So this means if they are biting. So in the 10th grade book it is given in detail about the greased cartridges. I just read it out and you can just go through the topic. Okay, about the greased cartridges. Just for your information I will read it. Greased cartridges. The immediate contest of the first war of independence was the introduction of cartridges, that is greased paper covers. A new rifle means a gun called Enfield rifle. It was supplied to whom? To the soldiers. And these cartridges to be used in the rifle was greased with fat. And before loading the cartridges onto the rifle, the soldiers had to bite off the ends with their teeth. With their teeth, they have to bite off. A rumor spread that the cartridges were greased with the fat of cows and pigs. And according to their belief that it was a taboo, or it was not the Hindus to bite the fat of a cow. Hindus to bite the fat of a cow, and Muslims to bite the fat of a pig. That means what? Loss of caste. So they were compelled to bite it. So it was a taboo for Hindus to bite the fat of a cow and for Muslims to bite the fat of a pig. So both the Hindus and Muslim sepoys refused to use the cartridges. So that is what, again here it is given like a small topic in your textbook. Detail you will be studying in 10th grade. Okay, so what is this immediate cause of the revolt of 1857 is about the new rifle. Rifle means gun. In that gun, what they greased with paper wrappers, they greased with the fat of cow and pig, and the Hindu soldiers and Muslim soldiers want to bite it. According to their religion, it was a taboo for the Hindus to bite the fat of a cow and Muslims to bite the pig. So you can see the introduction of greased cartridges in 1857. The British authorities introduced a new type of rifle. Who introduced it? The Britishers. In the army, in the field of army, called the Enfield rifle, in which greased cartridges had to be greased with these cartridges fitted in it. The sepoys were required, they were compelled to bite the top greased paper before loading the cartridge into the rifle. Soon, a rumor spread that the sepoys, the greased vapor of cartridges were made from the fat of cow and pig. Both the Hindus and Muslim sepoys got enraged. They were very angry at this because while the Hindu considered the cow is very sacred for them, and for the Muslims the pig is dirty. So that means what? It is a loss of their caste and religion. Already we discussed in the General Service Enlistment Act also to travel across the land means what? Loss of caste. So such a way to buy Hindus to buy the cow and to Muslims to buy the pig. It means what? Loss of caste for their religion. Consider the pig dirty. Hence, the Hindus and Muslim soldiers rose in a revolt as they saw it is an attempt to defile. Defile means what? defy their religion, or they think that what their religion loss of caste for them. So both the Sepoys, Hindu Sepoys and Muslim Sepoys, revolted against the British. That is why this revolt is also known as what? Sipai mutiny. Sipai Lehla. Sipai mutiny means Sipais, the Indian soldiers. So the immediate cause is this one. The Hindu soldiers and Muslim soldiers were compelled to bite the fat of a cow and pig, because to buy the Hindus to buy the fat of a cow, and the Muslims to buy the fat of a pig, means it means because for the Hindus the cow is very sacred, and for the Muslims the pig is a dirty. That means loss of caste. So the Sipais revolted against the British. So once again, let's recap this chapter only till here for the exam. The remaining topics detail you will study in the 10th grade. So once again recap. First one, the revolt of 1857 is also known as Great Uprising of the Revolt of 1857 or the Revolt of 1857, the first war of Indian independence. It's also known as Sipai Mutiny, also Sipai Mutiny, because of the introduction of greased cartridges. The Hindu Sepoys and Muslim Sepoys revolted, or they will become more angry, and it is also known as Sipai Mutiny. Now the four causes: political causes of the revolt of 1857, religious causes of the revolt of 1857, economic causes of the revolt of 1857, military causes of the revolt of 1857, and the immediate causes of the revolt of 1857 is about the greased cartridges. Write the short note about all the four causes of the revolt of 1857 and the immediate cause, and prepare well for your annual examination going to conduct in the month of December. Hope the topic is clear to you. Thank you. Have a nice day.